is truth in journalism, where brave men and women gave voice to the voiceless. But then the corporations bought the journalist, poisoning the news that we are fed. With those tainted sources, all we ever ate was a steady diet of status quo. This hijacked narrative is the truth of mass suffering, injustice and corruption throughout our land. Status quo, status quo, status quo, status quo. To expose this shift to oligarchy came a band of honest journalists. They left the studio and hit the streets to give the microphone back to the people. From sea to sea, the people were empowered to share their truth. Their voices no longer stifled, reclaimed their power. Join the media revolution now.
Hey there, Jordan Sheridan, live from New York City. Status Coup in the hizzy. Hope everyone's having a lovely day. It is Wednesday, October 23rd, 2019. I am ready to rock and roll on some important news. I'm aware that there's some competing broadcasting going on right now. My friend Jimmy Dore is live with Jill Stein. So what are you going to do? I guess I'm happy that I got her first. So was happy to interview Jill the other day. Both we cut it up into shorter clips, so that's up. Hopefully folks can multitask and watch us both. But I appreciate the folks that are here and ready to rock with me. Remember, important task, because YouTube is not making it easy to broadcast here. I need every one of you. We got 130 people watching right now. Press the like button. It's the thumbs up button right under the video. The more people that press that like button, the more people that will see this live stream. Membership we'll talk about in a little bit, but as a reminder, if you don't know, tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern Time, we have our monthly members call. So if you're a member, you'll get the video link. If you've been on it, a lot of fun. Jen and I will be there. Answer your questions, comments, concerns. We laugh, we cry. It's wonderful. So join us tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern Time for that. If you sign up as a member before that, you will be invited to the call. So become a member at statuscoup.com/join. That's statuscoup.com/join. Join us for as low as $5 a month. We are currently at 722 fine members. We want to get to 1,000 by the end of this year, so we definitely have some work to do. And tomorrow on the members call, I definitely think we'll have very, what's the term? Illuminating information. Can't give it all away, but we'll have some information for our members tomorrow night that I think you're going to want to know that I'm not going to tell anyone else. Got to tell the members first. So, statuscoup.com/join. Get with the program, statuscoup.com/join. Thank you, Betavirus, $2 in the super chat. And as an update, we are also at $78,676. So I believe that would be $324 away from hitting that $79,000. Would love to do it today. I am very eager to meet this GoFundMe goal. So if you got a couple bucks, drop it in the GoFundMe. Jen's working on something else, so she's not here. So I will be dropping the links in while I talk to you. So what's going on in the news? Obviously, we got the corporate media 24/7, Ukraine. I'm not saying it's not a story. I'm not saying it's not a scandal. But to tell you the truth, I don't really know what I could add to this that is not being covered every single place, all the time, on CNN, on MSNBC, New York Times, Washington Post. I don't have anything to add. The president's corrupt. He tried to bribe the president of Ukraine to basically give up and create an investigation into Joe Biden. And now the chickens might come home to roofs. So if there's something I think I could add something to, I'll talk about Trump. As I could tell right now, it's being covered. One thing that is not being covered that much is the slow-moving destruction of this ridiculous myth about keeping your private health insurance plan because we don't want to take the choice away from Americans. We don't want to take the choice away from fine Americans. We want them to have the choice to keep their amazing, generous, employer-based private health insurance industry. If you remember our friend, Mayor Pete Buttigieg, let's see what Mayor Pete had to say at the last debate about keeping the choice to this wonderful, wonderful plan to health care. What is he saying it? Medicare for all who want it. Some nonsense. Let's hear what Mayor Pete had to say.
Families.
Mayor Buttigieg, you say Senator Warren has been, quote, evasive about how she's going to pay for Medicare for all. What's your response?
Well, we heard it tonight, a yes or no question that didn't get a yes or no answer. Look, this is why people here in the Midwest are so frustrated with Washington in general and Capitol Hill in particular. Your signature, Senator, is to have a plan for everything, except this. No plan has been laid out to explain how a multi-trillion-dollar hole in this Medicare for All plan that Senator Warren is putting forward is supposed to get filled in. And the thing is, we really can deliver health care for every American and move forward with the boldest, biggest transformation since the inception of Medicare itself. But the way to do it without a giant multi-trillion-dollar hole and without having to avoid a yes or no question is Medicare for all who want it. We take a version of Medicare, we let you access it if you want to, and if you prefer to stay on your private plan, you can do that too. That is what most Americans want. Medicare for all who want it, trusting you to make the right decision for your health care and for your family, and it can be delivered
Thank you, Mayor.
without an increase
Senator,
on
your
middle-class
response?
taxes.
So let's be clear. Whenever someone hears the term Medicare for all who want it, understand what that really means. It's Medicare for all who can afford it. And that's the problem we've got. Medicare for all is the gold standard. It is the way we get health care coverage for every single American, including the family whose child's been diagnosed with cancer, including the person who
Wouldn't it be nice if I unmuted myself? I promised there would be no audio issues today. I promise you, I am going to put on the camera in front of me. Don't forget to unmute your mic. I'm getting older, I'm not sleeping, and I keep forgetting to unmute my mic. You have my word. After this show, I'm putting it on the camera, unmute the microphone. Won't happen again. I digress. So, Mayor Pete, who, by the way, I'm still not understanding what is this man's qualification to run for president of the United States. I don't want to be an elitist jerk-off. He's the mayor of South Bend, Indiana. Sorry to my friends in South Bend, Indiana, but you're not exactly Chicago, Illinois, population-wise. It's not like South Bend, Indiana is some roaring metropolis. I speak with people there. It's gentrified like the rest of America. So, putting that aside, he never gets asked, what is your qualifications to run for president? Putting that aside, Mayor Pete keeps saying at these debates, Bernie, Warren, you're taking away people's choice. Why are you taking away people's choice? They want the choice to keep private health insurance. Well, I think what Mayor Pete might be misunderstanding is you don't have a choice with your private health insurance industry. And the Washington Post of all places, who has been pushing the fear-mongering for Medicare for all, saying Americans don't want it, it's going to be too expensive, it's not doable, people will have to wait for hours and hours, days and days, weeks and weeks for for certain things, the Washington Post is now a case study in the fact that you don't have a choice. Here from a writer from the Washington Post just put this out there yesterday. The Post giveth and the Post shall taketh away. Days after announcing additional paid parental leave, great for fathers getting extended parental leave, company officials move staff towards high deductible health insurance plans that shift significant costs and risk onto the employees. Hashtag WAPO strong. Who owns the Washington Post? Anat? My girlfriend's here. She's sitting down. Jeff Bezos is his name? Oh. So Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post. Jeff Bezos, who, mind you, how much does Jeff Bezos make a day? Just in his stock alone, Jeff Bezos makes over $100 million per day on stock options alone. But Jeff Bezos, he can't afford to pay those wonderful journalists at the Washington Post. He can't afford to give them good health insurance. So this is not me saying it. This is, by the way, this gentleman is a member of the Guild, the union that represents the Washington Post. So this choice that Mayor Pete and Joe Biden keep talking about, and Kamala Harris keep talking about, that Bernie and Warren, who pretends that she's for Medicare for all, but we all know she's not, this choice that we're ripping away from the fine folks at the Washington Post, no. It's companies like the Washington Post under Jeff Bezos who are not giving their employees a choice. Because not that I'm, sitting here crying tears for the Washington Post. They're doing just fine in terms of their earnings at the Washington Post. Journalists there. But they don't have a choice. Like any other company, your employer can change your health insurance every year. I remember when I worked for corporations, pretty much every year there were changes in the healthcare plan. Sometimes they changed from companies. I remember, I think at MSNBC, they changed from Aetna to Cigna one year. The deductible was higher. We paid more in the copays. I believe when I was at the Young Turks, the same thing happened. And to tell you the truth, I can't fully blame the companies because healthcare costs keep rising. So they are having to face a higher share of the burden. And they're passing that off to their employees. I do blame Jeff Bezos because he could afford to give a gold standard healthcare plan. He's just choosing not to because he's a greedy mother. Boop! Trying not to get demonetized. And reminder, this is a super chat if you're feeling super. And we are trying very, very much to hit that $79,000 today. So if you got a couple bucks, here's the GoFundMe. I'll put the link in. It's all going towards in the field reporting. And I will have some news for you very, very shortly. In the next few days about some future field reporting trips we're going to be taking. So stay tuned for that. So Bernie Sanders got in on this ridiculousness of, the media pretending that Medicare for all rips away their choice by basically referencing that tweet I just showed you. Bernie took the tweet from the Washington Post reporter and said, we shouldn't allow Jeff Bezos or any other boss to choose their profits over workers' health care. We need Medicare for all. Bernie! Bringing it, baby! Bernie! Do I have my punch effect? Hold on, let me see if I can get my punching. Boom. There it goes. So, this notion that Medicare for all somehow takes away your choice. You don't have a choice. If you get laid off, there goes your health care from your employer. If you're at your employer and your company wants to change your plan where your deductibles go off, mind you, most people don't work at the Washington Post, making, for the most part, journalists there do very, very well in terms of salary. Most people are living paycheck to paycheck. So if your employer at a smaller company than the Washington Post changes their healthcare plan and makes deductibles higher for you, makes copays higher for you, you throw in some co-insurance that they make you pay, well, that could be the difference between you paying the rent this month or getting enough groceries or paying for the medicine and those kinds of things. So this choice narrative is a bunch of, shall I say, from Joe Biden, malarkey. I want to also show you a tweet from Wendell Potter, who is a healthcare whistleblower. He used to work for big healthcare companies and since then has been blowing the whistle on how immoral and basically greedy these healthcare companies are. Wendell Potter tweeted, "One of the reasons I left Cigna was meetings about high deductible plans. A consultant was explaining the merits of high deductible plans to us. I questioned how it would shift costs to workers. He got frustrated and said, 'You're going to have to drink the Kool-Aid.'" And he tweeted this out in reference to that same Washington Post journalist saying, "Yeah, Washington Post raising our healthcare costs." So Cigna told Wendell Potter, "You're going to have to drink the Kool-Aid," when he expressed grievances about these high deductible plans. Papi Chulamin, but the choice, Jordan. What this shows very clearly. Oh, by the way, I just want to show you in the Emerson poll from yesterday, I should have mentioned, the Emerson poll from yesterday, 70% of voters strongly oppose employers to be allowed to change or eliminate an employee's health insurance against the employee's wishes. 70% oppose employers changing health care against the employee's wishes. Well, wait a second. I keep hearing from Joe Biden and Mayor Pee Wee Herman over there that the American people want choice. The American people want the choice to keep their employer-based health care. Well, what about this poll that says 70% are opposed to employers fiddling with their health care? Well, all employers fiddle with your health care, from small adjustments to large adjustments. So call me, cynical Susie here, but I'm pretty sure this poll and many others that say the same thing, polls are worded in very specific ways. So a poll could be worded in a very specific way to get whatever answer the pollster wants. So a lot of times polls are worded in a way to get an answer that makes it seem like people are against government health care. And then you could word a poll a different way where people find it much more popular with people to have a government health insurance, government run system. Thank you, Robbie Asher, $9.99 in the super chat. Keep exposing all the BS out there. We're trying. And for our members, for our Status Coup members, remember, we got our members call tomorrow night. statuscoup.com/join. Become a member before tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern. You'll get the video link to the members call. Tomorrow night, Jen and I, we're going to be dropping some TMI truth. I can't give away the major story we're working on. I can't do that. But I am going to give you some crumbs. I am going to give members some crumbs of what we were doing for a week when we were away, and what we're working on now as far as that story. So I don't want to false advertise. I'm not going to tell you the story. I can't do it at this point, but I am going to give you a couple crumbs to our members. So sign up as a member, statuscoup.com/join before tomorrow night. You can become a member for as low as a cup of Joe a month, $5 a month, or $10 a month, or $179 annually. The members call is a lot of fun. So this guy, Pete Buttigieg, is so full of poop, trying not to get demonetized. It's not easy. I don't even know where to start. And where is this, by the way? Where is the corporate media? Thank you, Obi-Wan, $4.99 in the super chat. It really is Bernie or buzz. Otherwise, it will be more than a peaceful revolution. I call for peaceful anything. We don't want violence, period. I understand the Bernie or bust sentiment. I'm not there this time around. I don't think we could afford another 4 years of Donald Trump. I think this planet cannot afford much more of Donald Trump. But there's nothing to talk about right now. Right now is the primary, and I'm for Bernie Sanders, period. So, what I find incredible about this, the corporate media, they never point out that these private insurance plans are basically greedy profiteers running and playing God over your lives. Maybe because, wait for it, their parent companies are the very ones doing this playing God over those companies' lives. So it's not like CNN is going to do segment after segment talking about the holes in the argument for choice of the private health insurance company, because you think AT&T, the parent company of CNN, wants them focusing on the fact that AT&T could probably change their health insurance and will change their health insurance whenever they feel like it. Same goes for MSNBC. Comcast is the parent company. Same goes for the New York Times. Same thing goes for the Washington Post. They don't want their employees spotlighting the racket that is private health insurance industry, because they don't want it known that their employees don't have a choice. And why this is such an important discussion, David, I'm sure Jordan isn't trolling us. Sorry, Jordan, I ain't voting for Warren. Hey, Princess Queen, don't put words into my mouth. Did I tell you who to vote for? I say vote for whoever you want. I'm voting for who I want, but I'm not like other outlets who's going to push somebody down your throat. You vote for who you want. I'm just saying, I personally, and I've said this before, you don't have to agree with me, but I'm going to keep it real. I'm not going to just tell you what you want to hear. I personally don't think Warren is Hillary Clinton. I don't think she's Joe Biden. I don't think she's Kamala Harris. That doesn't mean there's not a lot of issues I have with her. If you watch here daily, I report every single day what I think is her being very flexible, her being very politically calculating, and frankly, a lot of hypocrisy. And she's starting to remind me a little bit of Barack Obama in 2007 and 8, promising to, part the seas, heal the world, and then essentially governing like a moderate Republican. That's what I'm starting to see. With that said, it's a different animal when you're talking about 8 years of Donald Trump. It's a different animal when you're talking about the United Nations saying we have 12 years of an inhabitable planet left until there is colossal, catastrophic, irreversible damage done. By the way, that report came out before the Amazon was set on fire. So I personally, I'm not going to mess with the planet, because you give Donald Trump another 4 years, there might not be a progressive movement left, because there might not be a planet left. If you know what I'm talking about. But I say vote for whoever you want. And during the general election, if Warren's doing things that, if she were the nominee, I'm not going to just close my eyes and count to 10. If she's doing shady stuff, I'm going to be the first one to report it. So if you don't like that, too bad. I'm not going to just tell you what you want to hear. But it is the primary, and I think it doesn't really matter at this point. Thank you, Erica Ramos, $4.99 in the super chat. There are a lot of people, frankly, on YouTube that, kind of just do things for clicks and tell the audience what they want to hear. That's just not who I am. I probably would be doing a lot better if I was that way. But I'm always going to keep it real, be authentic, and I think that's the way to go in the long term for long-term success. So, Terry Taylor, look, I hear you, Jordan, but don't you think Trump's days are numbered now? Terry, that's a good question. No, I don't think Trump's days are numbered, because we live in a different time, and corruption nowadays is not the same as it would have been viewed in maybe in the early 90s. So frankly, if corruption was viewed the same way that it was maybe before the Newt Gingrich era of politics, Donald Trump probably would have been impeached already for the various emolument clause violations. But Donald Trump has moved the goalposts so far. The problem is the Republican Party is not going to convict Donald Trump. You could impeach Donald Trump in the House. You have to get the Republicans to actually vote to convict him, which would remove him from office. I don't see that happening because, frankly, the Republican Party are a bunch of squirmish, power-hungry, greedy motherfuckers. Woo! Demonetized. Swear jar, please, in the super chat. And look at Lindsey Graham. He might as well be holding Donald Trump's jockstrap. It's embarrassing to watch Lindsey Graham. So no, I don't think Donald Trump is going anywhere. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But, we're now a little over a year, actually pretty much a year and 2 weeks till the general election. You think it's going to happen that fast, where Donald Trump is impeached in the House and convicted in the Senate? I don't think so. I really don't. So, those are my thoughts. Kyle Hancherich. Warren's not a fighter. She has good morals and her heart is in the right place, but all she needs is one stern talking to from the DNC and she will backpedal. I don't disagree with that. I liked Warren a lot better when she came into the Senate, but she has definitely been domesticated, shall we say, in the ways of establishment politics. That's for sure. So, Joseph Francis, my cameraman, in the super chat. Joseph Francis, Graham has spoken out against Trump lately. Oh, Joseph. I wish you were here so I could give you a little lesson. Yes, he's spoken out against Trump for Syria. Yes, the Republicans have spoken up because they're warmongers. That's not the same thing as voting to convict Donald Trump in the Senate and remove him from office. They will speak out, but they're not going to convict him. And I would vote the very little money I have to my name that that's not going to happen. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So, here's the thing with all this. Not only is companies like the Washington Post showing that this is a bunch of baloney and you don't have a choice with private health insurance industry, President Obama's very own Medicare chief, who ran Medicare under the Obama administration, literally wrote a piece the other day. Headline, USA Today, stop fear-mongering about Medicare for all. Most families would pay less for better care. Donald Berwick, who was Barack Obama's President Obama's chief of Medicare. Credit, I crucify a lot of media outlets. Credit to the USA Today for running this. I won't read the whole thing, but I'll read a little bit for you. And here's the article if you want to read along with me here. With costs rising painfully, insurance companies denying care, and nearly 30 million people still uninsured, America desperately needs an honest health... Let me just make that smaller so you can read it. America desperately needs an honest health policy discussion. That's why it has been so disappointing over the past several weeks to watch multiple candidates parrot right-wing attacks on Medicare for All, like claiming that it will greatly increase spending on health care or ringing alarms about raising taxes on the middle class. The truth is the opposite. Medicare for All would sharply reduce overall spending on health care. It could be thoughtfully designed to reduce total costs for the vast majority of American families while improving the quality of the care they get. Over my career, I have witnessed the problems with our healthcare system firsthand. As a pediatrician, I have seen how our fragmented, expensive system hurts children and families. As a researcher at Harvard Medical School, I have studied the causes of waste and overspending in our system. And as President Barack Obama's head of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, I led the existing Medicare system and helped stand up Obamacare. What I saw convinced me that the Affordable Care Act was an essential step forward, but covering all Americans through a single-payer federal insurance program would now be a wiser path. President Obama has said himself, it's now time for good new ideas like Medicare for All. I'll put the link in the super chat. You can read along if you want. So, oh my God. Where is CNN and MSNBC? Breaking news, Barack Obama's chief of Medicare comes out for Medicare for All. Is that not a big deal? Am I in the Twilight Zone? All we hear is of people railing against Medicare for All, but we don't hear somebody from Joe Biden's administration. Remember, Joe Biden was the vice president. We don't hear, he's not the janitor. He's not some mid-level staffer. This is the head of Medicare and Medicaid for President Obama, saying, we need Medicare for all. But no, you don't hear it anyway. J0321, thanks for the $5 in the super chat. Cyber Clue, $5. We put Dems back in control of the House and Senate in 2006, and first thing Pelosi said was impeachment is off the table for war criminal Bush. Yep, this is true. This is true. And then President Obama, when he came into office, said, we're not going to look backwards and let war criminal Bush, Cheney, Rumsfeld, Tenet, all those people off the hook, including the bankers. But I digress. I don't want to go in a, whole new direction. And reminder, folks, we do have the GoFundMe going. So for the 400 of you watching right now, if everybody leaves $5, we will shatter $79,000 very quickly. So I hope if you got a couple bucks, drop it in the GoFundMe. Jen's not here today, so I will put it right there in the GoFundMe in the super chat. That's the GoFundMe link. Would love to hit $79,000 today. So I bring all of this up because all of this is a false debate. I'm fine. I'm totally fine if there are people that want to go on, debate stages. I'm fine if people want to go on CNN and just say, I understand a lot of people want a government-run system, but I'm fundamentally against expanding the government. I'm fundamentally against depending on government to run something as complicated as healthcare, and that's why I'm against Medicare for all. That's an argument that I could debate, because that's a legitimate argument, and a lot of people are against. Libertarians, conservatives, expanding the government. If you want to have that debate, we could have that debate. What I'm against is this nonsense and disingenuous, intellectually dishonest stuff. We're ripping away your choice. I am sorry to report to you. If you live in the capitalist order, you don't have a choice. If you get laid off, if you get fired, if whatever, lose your job, you can't work. Maybe you get disability under certain circumstances, but you're certainly not going to keep your health care. And by the way, even if you're lucky enough, if they're kind enough to give you health insurance at your company, if they change it to a higher deductible plan the next year, are you going to be able to afford it if you're living paycheck to paycheck? This is the madness. This is the madness. Thank you, Keanu, for the $1 in the super chat. So, before I move on to the next topic, I want to remind you, tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern, be there or be square. Status Coup's monthly members call. Sign up before tomorrow night as a member at statuscoup.com/join. Statuscoup.com/join. And if you sign up before then, you'll get the video link to the call. It's a lot of fun. We are trying to grow our membership so we could grow for the long haul. We are at 722 members right now. So sign up, $5 or $10 or $179 annually. And if you become a member, you're supporting this kind of reporting.
Brand new reaction coming in from Rudy Giuliani. And right now, President Trump's former top advisor on Russia.
More breaking news tonight on Rudy Giuliani.
Trump lawyer Rudy Giuliani is under criminal investigation.
President Trump is not going to cooperate.
The latest on impeachment.
Impeachment investigation. President Trump.
President Trump. President Trump.
President Trump.
President Trump.
President Trump's
educational issues with the children that have been poisoned. We're at one of the encampments that homeless people are living at.
It's really discouraging to notice these similarities where you have the administration going, there's absolutely nothing wrong with your water, but here, take these filters.
Are you on Social Security?
I am, but I work a full-time business.
I know, but you're aware Social Security is a socialist program.
Well, that's beside the point.
Become a member for the members call tomorrow night. Don't forget. So I want to bring up, oh yes, and for the 400 people watching right now, we need more of you to press that like button. So we got 400 people watching right now. Only 275 of you have pressed that like button. So remember, it's the thumbs up button right under the video. The more people that press like, the more people that will see this video. So I want to bring up a story that, of course, no one is going to talk about in corporate media. The Dakota Access Pipeline company, the Dakota Access Pipeline, which sparked a massive movement at this point 3 years ago in Cannonball, North Dakota. The Dakota Access Pipeline, which currently carries 500,000 barrels of oil a day through North Dakota, through South Dakota, through North Dakota, South Dakota, and into Illinois. It carries 500,000 barrels a day. The oil company, Energy Transfer Partners, greedy mofos, they want to move it to 1.1 million barrels of oil per day. This was announced a few months ago, but there's a development. Just to remind you, if you didn't know, obviously the Standing Rock Sioux tribe is against this, because expanding it from 500,000 barrels of oil a day to over 1 million barrels, if you have a spill, which at this point, reported, there's been 5 spills, but like we always say, it could be more spills that they haven't reported, because North Dakota and Texas basically have ridiculous laws on actually mandating that oil companies report spills. So for all we know, there has been more spills that have not been reported, including into the Missouri River, which serves 20 million people downstream their drinking water. So Standing Rock Sioux Chairman Mike Faith said in a statement, this was a couple months ago, that, quote, the proposed pipeline expansion magnifies the potential disaster in the event of an oil spill. The Standing Rock Sioux tribe looks forward to expressing its concerns during the upcoming PSC hearing. The $3.8 billion pipeline is less than a half mile from the Standing Rock Sioux tribe, beneath a Missouri River reservoir that is the tribe's water source. The company says the expansion would help meet the growing demand for oil from North Dakota, the nation's second biggest oil producer behind Texas. Of course, that's a load of bullshit. Most of the oil from these pipelines is not going to North Dakota. It's not going to South Dakota. It's going to export terminals in the Gulf to then go to other countries, aka energy independence, as they call it, energy independence. So, the update in this story, yesterday, commissioners in South Dakota, in a South Dakota county, approved a conditional use permit for a pumping station needed for an expansion of the Dakota Access Pipeline. The Lincoln County Board, of course, shockingly, South Dakota politicians, voted 4-1 in favor of the proposal. The station, expected to cost between $30 million and $40 million, would be built near Harrisburg in southeastern South Dakota. Texas-based Energy Transfer announced in June its plans to expand the pipeline's capacity, which I just read to you. The Lincoln County Planning Commission approved the project last month, but the members of the Dakota Rural Action, a South Dakota environmental group, appealed the decision to the county board. Opponents warned of possible pollution. Senior organizer Rebecca Turk of Dakota Rural Action told commissioners that the pumping station would increase risks of the pipeline developing leaks or a catastrophic blowout. She said that in turn would harm water supplies and farmland. Quote, it's not just about the pipe as a whole, it's about those imperfections that exist throughout the pipeline. Supporters testified in favor of the project, including union representatives, blah, 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 blah. The site includes a 13,000-gallon tank to provide surge relief, automatic sensors that shut the facility down in case of fire, and sensors that monitor for leaks. Commissioner David Gillespie cast a lone no vote. Gillespie questioned whether there would be enough security at the building to prevent someone from damaging it. Last month, an administrative law allowed the Standing Rock Sioux tribe to intervene on plans to expand the Dakota Access Pipeline. North Dakota regulators have set a November 13th public hearing in Linton, near where the pump station would go, on the proposed expansion. The tribe led original opposition to the crude oil pipeline. The $3.8 billion pipeline is less than a half mile from the Standing Rock Sioux Reservation beneath the Missouri Reservoir. So, why I'm bringing this up is it's already a danger that the Dakota Access Pipeline even exists in the first place. But now, when you're talking about expanding a pipeline like this from 500 million barrels a day to over 1 million barrels a day, the pipeline was not built for that level of capacity. You would have to expand the diameter of the pipeline to safely do that. You can't retroactively expand the diameter of a pipeline. So what they're basically doing is stuffing more oil in a pipeline that isn't equipped to hold that much, because they don't give a damn if it explodes. They don't give a damn if it leaks. They don't care if it leaks into water supplies. They don't care if it kills animals. They don't care if it destroys sacred burial lands like it did in Standing Rock and other places. They don't care. They're insured in case of explosion and this and that. So are their investors. You are not, if you live in the path of this pipeline. Not to mention, separate pipeline, but Keystone XL pipeline is going to begin construction probably by the end of this year, which status quo has been trying to work on going there. So I will have news on that end. I'm waiting to hear back from certain tribe members. And thank you. We just got some donations in the GoFundMe. Speaking of growing our funding to go cover Keystone and this attempt to expand Dakota Access Pipeline. Patrick Coyne, $27 in the GoFundMe. Jose Valdez, $5. We are now $292. $292 away from $79,000. What I would do, maybe some twerking. Maybe I'd twerk today if we could hit that 79,000. It was very popular the first time I did it. Oh, I might hurt my back. You're right. So I hope we could get that extra $292 today. It would make a big difference. And then if we get that $292 in the GoFundMe, then we are just $6,000. $6,000 away from hitting our GoFundMe goal. That would be wonderful. So let me tell you something, folks. There's a lot right now to focus on. You got a madman in the White House. You got Joe Biden stumbling and bumbling through this campaign. You got Elizabeth Warren moonwalking away from Medicare for all. You got Mayor Pete Buttigieg. I don't know what to say other than basically blocking up space. You got the corporate media on a daily basis just verbally and going after Bernie Sanders on every single thing. It's hard to focus on these mini things, but it's important when local officials vote to basically allow a very, very dangerous expansion to continue. We know that South Dakota, North Dakota politicians, they're all bought off by the oil companies. We know that Energy Transfer Partners itself literally paid off the police in North Dakota. Literally, the police were reimbursed by Energy Transfer Partners in North Dakota for their law enforcement at Standing Rock, i.e. beating the living shit out of Native Americans and environmental activists. But this stuff happening on the ground now, the rubber stamping of expanding this pipeline, remember this report. Remember these stories when that pipeline explodes. It's not if, it's when. And when they pretend that, oh, we didn't know it would happen, and oh, we had safeguards in place, remember, the tribes were screaming about it. Remember the few journalists who tried to raise awareness about this. Remember the environmental activists who were fighting out against this. And it might not be, the path of the Dakota Access Pipeline might not be coming through your neck of the woods, but I promise you, if you do enough homework, there's pipelines like it all over where you live. Trump has opened, if Obama expanded fracking and these natural gas and crude oil pipelines, Trump has doubled down. Because they're all a bunch of mother frackers, as far as I'm concerned. Rhonda, they could either raise the pressure, which is unlikely, or lower the viscosity. You lower the viscosity by blending in more light oil or raising the temperature of the product, or both. Thank you for the engineering lesson, Rhonda. That still does not change the fact this pipeline is not equipped to carry that much oil safely. And I've spoken with engineers who have said that. So, that's it. That's the update. I will be back tomorrow. Again, tomorrow we have our members call. So if you're not a member, sign up today to join us for tomorrow's members call. It's at 7:30 Eastern time. It's going to be a lot of fun. We take your questions, comments, concerns, ideas, whatever you want. We'll take it. So I hope more of you sign up as a member before tomorrow night. Before I go, I'm going to read a couple comments, questions, ideas, whatever you got. Big Pharma is a big problem, but not really the fault of physicians, Victoria says. And Shay, why no poll on Medicare recipients? Find out if they would like private insurance instead. If they are concerned with their lack of choice, would they approve of Bernie's expansion of coverage? I think if you polled Medicare recipients, they would say they want their Medicare expanded. And they would say they don't want a private alternative. They like Medicare, but they would like it expanded. Victoria, trolls are bad for your blood pressure. My blood pressure is fine. Joseph, history repeating itself, the white man killing the Native Americans. Joseph is correct. And by the way, I don't want to blow up your spot, Joseph, my cameraman. He is 17% Native American. So, I'm not going to tell you to get a DNA test like Elizabeth Warren did. I believe you. I believe you, Joseph. Our cameraman is 17% Native American. And Joseph, by the way, Joseph is troubleshooting our new live view today. So we got a new live view thanks to your GoFundMe donations. It cost us a pretty penny. But once we have this done, we are going to be able to go live, and it's going to be a lot more flawless. So he's working on that today. I look forward to us going live with the new live view. D. Martin, your problem with me is that I'm a progressive that has been around for decades. Bernie has been supporting the Clintons for 30 years. I don't know. I didn't say I have a problem with you, D. Martin. I don't know who you're talking about. And Bernie supporting the Clintons for 30 years? I think that's unfair, personally. Sylvia Ross, I'm a Medicare recipient. Hell yes, I want it expanded. So Sylvia, you're saying you don't want a private alternative? Is that what you're telling me, Sylvia? Joseph Francis, 17% confirmed through 23andMe. I should do 23andMe. I wonder what I am. Polish? Did they say that? I know I'm Polish and Russian. HG Spider-Man, we believe you, Joseph. That hack Elizabeth Warren, not so much. Joseph says Navajo actually. Very interesting. Joseph, can you tell supporters in the Super Chat why they should donate? We are $292 away from $79,000. Do you have a pitch as a new member of the Coup Day Cavalry why they should donate? Drop it in the Super Chat if you have an idea for why they should donate. What else? And thanks for the people who stuck with me. I know that there's competing broadcasts on right now. So thank you. What is 23andMe? It's like a DNA site. All right. More name calling, just me. Who's name calling? Definitely Russian. You look like my cousin, Jordan. Why, thank you. Don't start the rumorville. I'm not a Russian asset. I'm not a spy. Just a good-loving Polish Jewish man. Very white, very pale. Little pasty in the sun. Oh, I do have a little Spanish in me, I found out. And slight Cuban heritage, too. My grandma, her side of the family, lived in Cuba for a while, so I'm going to take that. Joseph, you should donate so we can get to Puerto Rico for Hurricane Miss Maria, Keystone, and other major stories. I couldn't agree more. Kelly Elaine, I'll give again after the first 200. Kelly, we love you. Kelly has given more than just about anyone else in this GoFundMe. She's an all-star here at Status Coup. So thank you, Kelly. All right, we will find out all the secrets. Status Coup is here to uncover. Money is needed to uncover. This is true. This is why the corporate media doesn't do it. It's too hard. They don't want to roll up their sleeves and go in the trenches. We do. All right. That's it, folks. I got to go get dinner with my loved one. I will see you tomorrow. I really hope every single person who's on the fence will sign up today. Statuscoup.com/join. Join us for our members call tomorrow night. We're going to have some news for you. We can't give away the story, but we'll have some crumbs for you members so you know what we're working on. I'm really looking forward to that call. And that's it. Remember, most people are not lacking compassion in this country turned into the United Corporations of America. Most people have no idea what is going on all around them. Peace out.